Welcome back to the Monday Night Wars. This is the WWF side, week 35. This is the 162nd episode in the history of Raw. It went on the USA Network from Fayetteville, North Carolina at the Cumberland County Memorial Auditorium, June the 3rd, 1996. Ratings were for Raw 2.3 this week. Nitro got a third straight victory as they hit a 3.0. So now, after this week's loss, the total scoreboard is now 16 wins for the WWF, 17 losses, and 2 draws all time through 35 weeks. Nitro has one more victory. Next week, WWF will get the victory, but that's next week, and it's the last time for 2 years. But that's next week. This week, Nitro gets the win. Raw will get its victory again next week to tie the score up, but through 35 weeks, Nitro has one more win. This is the Raw that was rated 2.3. It was brought to you by Vince McMahon and The King. Show opens up with Goldust saying, "Ahmed, if you want the IC title," and then he's laying backstage with barely anything on it. He goes, "Come and get it," and then the Raw theme hits. And McMahon comes back from that, going, "Welcome to Monday Night Raw." Well, Bob Holly's in the ring, and Bob Holly's doesn't get the entrance. He just gets the last part of his entrance as he's in the ring waiting for the next person to come out, and it's the Stone Cold Steve Austin by himself with no Ted DiBiase now. Stone Cold's first entrance without DiBiase. Still coming out to that Ringmaster theme, but his name is Stone Cold now. But he's on his own, so we're slowly getting to who Stone Cold is. Austin is now on his own up because Ted DiBiase lost the match at Beware of Dog. Well, Austin did for DiBiase at the Caribbean strap match. So DiBiase is no more. Holly and Austin chain wrestle for a bit. Then Austin with a reverse elbow drops it on Holly. Then a backbreaker. Austin then grabs Holly and a snapmare before a knee to the chest. Stone Cold in the corner with an elbow to the corner. Holly fights back, but Austin uses Holly's weight to throw him out of the ring. Austin, near the end of the match here, slaps a headlock then a snapmare. Holly back to his feet with right hands hammering, but Austin meets him with a high knee. Austin drops to his knee. Holly kicks out of a snapmare and a pinning attempt. Austin hits him with a hot shot, then hits groin first with a back body drop to the canvas. Austin in the other corner as Holly hammers away and Austin shoves him off. The $1 Million Dream then slapped on Holly as Holly couldn't get out, and Stone Cold Steve Austin wins with the submission, the $1 Million Dream. I rated the match 2 stars and a quarter as Austin advances in the King of the Ring tournament. The King then shows off his real-life artistic skill with a drawing he made of the Warrior in him, and it has the King stomping the Warrior and then putting it the Ultimate Loser. This would be on the road to their King of the Ring match, obviously, where the King faces the Ultimate Warrior. Mankind takes on Barry Horowitz, and the Ultimate Warrior is going to be on the next Raw for an interview. And the King goes, "What?" Mankind takes on Barry Horowitz now. Horowitz, the scoop slam in the corner, Mankind with the elbow drop, and then Horowitz is at a tree of woe, and Mankind runs his running knee to the back of Horowitz. Mankind slaps on the mandible claw, and Horowitz has no way to get out. So Mankind wins with the mandible claw. I rated it 3/4 of a star. Goldust is in the back saying Ahmed will never forget his name at King of the Ring, laying in a seductive way and saying that Ahmed will melt in his hands, not in his mouth this time. He compares the breath, the mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. He compares that to chocolate melting in your mouth. Obviously a play on kissing Ahmed. The Godwins versus Team Techno 2000, and the King is still on the fact that he's tried to save his life, and same with Goldust. They both pretend that they were trying to save his life, and McMahon was saying, "Come on, Ahmed didn't need mouth-to-mouth resuscitation." The Godwins, I know that didn't sound like him, but I can only do his voice sometimes. Only sometimes. The Godwins versus Team Techno 2000, Travis and Troy of Team Techno 2000 taking on Phineas and Henry O. Godwin. Phineas I and Henry O. Sunny then comes on commentary, and King asks her, why is she with the smoking gun? She was just with the Godwins, then the Body Donis before that. And she says she goes where the gold goes. Phineas Godwin with Troy of Techno Team 2000. Phineas Godwin with a handshake and Troy locks up with him. Phineas Godwin drags Troy out of the corner and sends him on an airplane spin, sent into the corner, but turnbuckle. Godwin ate a boot as Travis of Team Techno 2000 with a hit of moonsault after that. Phineas Godwin takes in Henry, and he slowly takes it to Troy, who takes in Travis. And then they double-team Henry Godwin into the corner, and then they move out of the way, and Henry then gets his hands on Travis and hits a slop drop. Godwin's win after the slop drop. I rated it 1.25 stars. Clarence Mason then next says that he has video proof that Gorilla Monsoon assaulted him, and then replays Exhibit A, B, C, D, where Gorilla Monsoon just gently pats him on the back or leads him in a different direction. Nothing to make any assaults, but they wanted to put Clarence Mason over as this evil litigator that looks at any wrongdoing and makes somebody accountable, usually a babyface. Next up, we had a King of the Ring 96 qualifying match. Jake the Snake Roberts versus Hunter Hearst Helmsley, who comes out with his valet, Jenny, this week. Jenny's the valet, so she sits at ringside with the King and Vince. Hunter was supposed to win this match and the whole tournament for that matter, but the curtain call happened where he hugged Hall and Nash. He wouldn't be winning anything, not for a year anyway. And this was clearly on Vince's mind during the match, the curtain call, because he mentions Razor Ramon and Diesel, and I forgot that he did this. Jenny Hunter's new valet is being, more to that in a second. Jenny Hunter's new valet is being interviewed by King during the match, like always. Hunter Helmsley has his arm torqued, then a wrist lock by Jake the Snake, and then an arm bar, and then an overhead wrist lock, and then an abdominal stretch by Jake. McMahon during this match gives away the fact that Razor Ramon and Diesel are no longer with the WWF, and WCW is applying a ruse where they are still with the WWF. For more on that, join us on AOL, McMahon says. He doesn't say the words WCW, he says a rival organization. Gotta love the pettiness back and forth during the war. McMahon even says a rival organization, not WCW. They won't mention them by name. Both companies never do. That's like what Bischoff always says, World Whiny Federation. They don't want legal trouble, and they don't want for promotional reasons either. They don't want to name the other federation or company. Hunter is Helmsley with an elbow down to Jake the Snake and connects with a right hand, and then Jake runs into a reverse elbow. Jake the Snake Roberts covers him after a DDT and then wins the match. Bradshaw and Jake the Snake, Owen and Yoko are the next match is scheduled next week, Vince says. Jake then with the Snake and Undertaker versus the British Bulldog. Not all in the tournament, but these are just some matches happening. One of them, I believe, is a tournament match, and that's Jake and Bradshaw. Jake then, the Snake, lets go of it and threatens to put it under the pants of Helmsley, and his valet, Jenny, on commentary goes, "No!" So Jake advances after a DDT win. I rated the match 2 stars. The show closed with McMahon saying, "You never know what's going to happen in the World Wrestling Federation. Join us next week on Raw." And it's important they do because, again, it would be the last time the Raw won the weekly ratings for almost 2 years next week on June the 10th. This is the June the 3rd, 1996 episode. This is the one that drew a 2.3 to the Nitro's 3.0. This episode scores a quality rating of 5 out of 10. I think I'd just give it a passing grade because Austin and Holly had a decent match, as did Jake and Triple H. Mankind and match and the Techno 2000 match were blah. Goldust backstage interview was interesting at the same time, but this Raw really lacked star power. It wasn't the greatest Raw, to say the least. I probably could give it a 4 out of 10, but I'll stick with 5 because that's my first instinct. I usually stick with my first instinct. So through 35 weeks of the war, the score is now 16, 17, and 2 for Monday Night Raw. That's 16 wins, 17 losses to Nitro, and 2 ties. After next week, it would be tied through 36 weeks. It would be 17, 17, and 2 through 36 weeks. That's amazing, considering that Nitro is going to go on a 2-year winning streak pretty soon. Not next week, but the week after. They'll start their 83 weeks in a row, I believe it is. Just unbelievable how Nitro could dominate for that long, but we're not there yet. We still have one more Raw to go where Raw will win. And that would be where Undertaker takes on the Bulldog in the main event. But this week, they lose to Nitro 3.0 to 2.3. And through 35 weeks, again, 16 wins, 17 losses, 2 draws. That's this week's Raw. Hit like and subscribe as always. Thank you for following along with the more. I put Nitro and Raws in their own archive sections. And, we'll see you on the next Raw. Now I'm going to do a review for WCW for Week 35. For the WWF for Week 35, a Monday Night Raw review. I'm Brett Mix. Thanks for watching, and I'm out.